Hey guys, welcome back. BDCKR here, and we're back with a mashup of our Q&A and multiplayer teams. I'm flying solo this week and thought it was better to do this than to skip it completely. And this is an Earth 2 team that's a follow-up to a question from Ian Connor. And Ian Connor asked, in one of the previous Q&As, I asked how I should gear an Earth 2 team with Flash, Hawkgirl, and Solomon Grundy. You guys recommended that I go with Killer Frost instead of Hawkgirl. Great recommendation, by the way. And so I checked back in your old video to see what gear I should use, but that vid was made in the world before Tantu Totem. I was wondering what gear I should use on them now with Tantu Totem out. Currently, I'm using Ibis Stick, Razzle Glow Scimitar, and Hyperspeed Suit on Flash, Tantu Totem, Master's Death Cart, and LexCorp Chest Piece on Grundy, and Astro Harness 4th World Chest and 4th World Mace on Killer Frost. Do you guys have any suggestions on if I should change those gears? And just for reference, my team is Promotion 3 and has no augmentations. And the follow-up question from Ian was, so what I need to gather from this is slap on a couple of basic damage gears, Cloak of Destiny for Flash, switch LexCorp Chest for Heart of Darkness on Grundy, since I mostly use Special 2 anyways, and keep Astro Harness on Killer Frost, but swap the 2 4th World pieces for Necron Scythe or something. And just to comment on this first fight, what you're seeing is a glitch where Batman Ninja Batman is taking 0 damage but still able to dish it out. And this usually means quitting because he's taking 0 damage from basics, specials, and we'll see if the super does anything, which it does not. And usually that means you just gotta quit, right? So because we've got Earth 2 Solomon Grundy, it's worth toughing it out just to see if any of the effect right now of Batman taking no damage is a result of his gears, and because Solomon Grundy can potentially, decay gears, or just make them not useful, then it's, if one of the gears is the reason why this is happening, we have a potential out. And we've used these cards once before, as Ian mentioned, and the link will be in the description. And originally Solomon Grundy was a tank, but Ian correctly points out that was before Tantu Totem. It's an Earth 2 team that's better with only 2 Earth 2 members. You remove Hawkgirl, you replace her with Killer Frost because you're really leaning into the power dampening. Originally, Killer Frost had to be in first slot to take advantage of Flash or Solomon Grundy tagging in and potentially stunning. But since she's got Astro Harness and she's our tank, she's no longer in first slot because we want to save that first invulnerability just in case. So Solomon Grundy, Tantu Totem, Master's Death Cart, and Heart of Darkness. The Heart of Darkness is for power generation and special 2 boost. Could just as easily be Ibis Stick, which also has special 2 boost and power gen. The most important part is power generation to make sure he gets the second bar, and the special 2 boost doesn't matter as much, so if you have some alternate gear, yeah, anything's really fine. Excuse me. Killer Frost is our tank. She's got Astro Harness, Necron Scythe, and Thermafrost Necklace. She's the tank, so Astro Harness is almost a requirement. You need something to eat a super if an opponent comes in with one. Thermafrost Necklace is just kind of fun because you're thumbing your nose up at the opponent, right? You're completely dampening their power while generating more of your own. And really, her gear shouldn't matter because you're going to be swapping Flash and Solomon Grundy back and forth, and she's really not going to come into play. Flash has Cloak of Destiny, Netherrealm Kama, and Knife Collection. You could easily switch out Cloak for Hyperspeed Plated Suit since he's in first slot, and Cloak of Destiny is way more useful when he tags in and stuns, but it still does boost crit attacks, so it's not a complete waste. So this Blackest Night team, it's not going to be a big deal. The main danger of a Blackest Night team that we're going to face right now would be if they had Flash, and they don't. Solomon Grundy does damage over time with his passive, so does Heart of Darkness when he does a special 2. So Blackest Night, Flash, and teammates get healing and power generation with damage over time, so we'd lose the benefit of power damping because we'd be just giving it to them. But we don't need to worry about this Blackest Night team because it just doesn't have Flash. Martian Manhunter starts with taking less damage when he's got the blue glow, so we just want to we waited it out before tagging Solomon Grundy to make sure he knocks out the first opponent and gets all his power back with Tantu. And we also saw the benefit of his passes, right? He shattered a gear tagging in, and that was great. We can see that he had his special 2 hit multiple opponents. And in this next fight, Solomon Grundy's special 2 on multiple opponents is even better against a dodger, because if he tags in the middle of a special 2, because his teammate gets knocked out, that opponent's teammate cannot dodge the special with, we're talking about Dawn of Justice Batman, can't dodge the special with his passive. So it's maybe worth softening up Wonder Woman first to make sure a bunch of Solomon Grundy's hits will make contact with whoever is next up. Oh, and she's blocked. Let's make sure we do enough damage. Oh, and we did not. Okay. She's doing a whole bunch of extra damage. And even though he dodges, I mean, a lot of the strategy is still worth attempting. Oh, and this is why we see it's not worth putting Cloak of Destiny or Necron Scythe on an Earth 2 card if they have Master's Death card. So Solomon Grundy got the stun on Taggin, but Master's Death card unstunned Dawn of Justice Batman, because and that let him dodge. Yeah, that's unfortunate. So Flash, we said we went through all the gears already, right? So Solomon Grundy is the real revelation here. He does a huge amount of special 2 damage. It's multiple hits, and it can hit all 3 opponents. So it's pretty spectacular. And if the value of Tantu Totem as a time waster against Astro Harness is potentially flawed because the opponents are getting power, in this case, opponents will be generating 0 power when they're in a fight. So the priority has to be switching between Flash and Solomon Grundy, both because they have a tagging effect, but also because they completely negate power generation in the opponent. And Astro Harness right there, so now we don't really need to worry. I mean, we could have actually just used Tantu Totem over and over. Sometimes my instinct is to match my Astro Harness against their Astro Harness. And we're only doing special 1s mainly because we don't want to lose all our power. Okay. We don't really need to worry about Arkham Knight back row, which we normally do on a full Arkham team, for Superman at least, because he's not Arkham. And she doesn't have Cloak or Necron Scythe to boost stun damage when she comes in to protect Killer Croc, so we don't even really need to worry about that either. Yeah, she's coming in, she's not doing enough damage. I mean, normally she'd be really dangerous if she had like a one-hit KO or something. So like I mentioned, the priority is switching between Flash and Solomon Grundy, both because they have a tag-in effect, but also because they completely negate power generation. So Killer Frost, she only gets her own power dampening. When either Earth 2 is in, they get the Earth 2 power dampening plus Killer Frost power dampening. And what you saw right there was cool because Solomon Grundy shattered Superman's gear right before he was knocked out, just from the tag-in. So it doesn't look like there's anything of concern. I mean, you might notice too, the priority is checking only the first card to see if there's something interesting, because as long as you've knocked out the first card, whatever happens when they tag in, you've got all your power back, and you're just knocking out the first guy. Second guy comes in, it's already a 3-2 fight. And yeah, so that's a huge amount of damage. And ooh, 3 guys. And sorry, 2 knockouts, and it would have done damage to the third guy if Injustice 2 Superman did not have Astro Harness, and I guess if he wasn't Injustice 2 Superman with his passive that can evade the special as long as he's not blocking. Oh, nice stun. So that's, we got a little bit of extra boosted damage, right? Because he's got the cloak. And it's just a matter of time. I mean, like I said, we've got 3 to 1. He's not generating really any kind of usable power at all. So he's not going to be a threat. And look at this. So look at his power generation. Nothing. Those hits from his special, or those misses from his special 1 would normally have generated a bunch of power. And he never gets his first bar, so he's not a danger at all. Yeah, this is a pretty fun team. And let's see. Okay. And they're metals. A lot of times you'd be worried you're facing a metal character, good high stats, but based on their numbers, on the gears, it looks like they've got nothing really good, right? So they may be metals, but they're really just, without the right gears, they're just hunks of meat with high stats. So one thing to do is maybe soften Nightwing a bit, just to give us a better chance of knocking him out with Solomon Grundy, and getting our power back. So we'll just... There we go. Oh, and he's still blocked. Alright, so it's going to take a little bit more time to tag in, but like I said, the priority should be for leaving Killer Frost on the sidelines. You can see Batman Who Laughs is really no power generation. Yeah. And that's really it. I mean, it's not the fastest team. It really can't be, I think, when you're leaning completely into the whole power dampening thing. Power dampening is really a defensive kind of strategy, but what it means is it's hard to lose. So, all right, so there we go. Astro Harness is first slot. This time we're going to use Solomon Grundy and Tattoo Totem to kill time. Killing Joke Joker, you'll see on their team, is sort of a counter to a power dampening team like ours, but he's not in first slot. And if we get lucky, he's going to be the last man in. And it'll be really down to, hopefully, a 3-2 fight by the time we get there. Yeah, we're going to have to tag out. Alright, so let's see. Oh, unfortunately, we're going to have somebody here before. Oh, that's not bad. So he's got very little health. We know most of the hits. This is probably the next best outcome that we can have with that. He's going to have almost no hits. And now this is the exact use that we want for Killer Frost. This is probably the best case scenario if Killing Joe Joker's not going to be the last man standing, right? He had very little health. Our Special 2 had lots of hits left over. It bought us the time to tag in Killer Frost. And she still had her first invulnerability to handle Arkham Knight's 3 bars of power. So the fight took a bit longer, but it doesn't feel like we were ever at risk. So like I was saying, we've got a passive that focuses for the sort of the team strategy passive that focuses on power dampening, which is really defensive. There's nothing offensive about the other team having less power. And it just means that it's a powerful team, not the fastest. Kind of fun to play because there's, it is actually, when you shatter the gears, I think maybe I've got a bit of a bias that I really like taking the team, the opponent's team, and making them a lot less effective. So Flashpoint team, Aquaman, Batman, Deathstroke. So Deathstroke's not bad. Alright, so Aquaman's got the Astro Harness. We'll do some special ones only because it means that we're likely to still have some power after we've connected on one of them. And we have a better chance of getting him as low down as possible. And not bad boosted damage with the cloak, but it doesn't last very long, right? It's only with the stun, so it's really just the one combo. But the beauty is Solomon Grundy is just doing so much damage, and his Special 2 tracks over a couple guys, so now he's still got 2 bars of power. Yep, and because Aquaman did not generate enough power while he's off screen, he's never really going to be a danger. And if we time this just right, it'll, yep, his invulnerability was done, and Killer Frost gets the kill. So, what did we learn? It's a great team. With Tantu Totem, Solomon Grundy becomes a really great specialist. He's got a powerful special 2, and he's got an advantage over the newer characters because his special 2 does not only a lot of damage, but is able to do it over more than one character. And that's it for this week, and I'd like to wrap it up by giving a big thank you to our patrons on Patreon, and that is Consul Peasant and Edwoon, supporting us at the highest last word tier, Mohammed Albshaiti at the Your Message Here tier, Shawn Farrell, Daniel Simonson, Aaron Maule, Michael DeVries, Brandon C., and Irvin Ruiz, who support us on the credited level, and Chris Wolff, Scarlet, Dani, Awesomegamer 2for1, Pavu RS, and Gavin Mallott at the gratitude level. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next week with our regular Q&A. Komoda.